What's going on, guys, and welcome to this Pokemon strategy guide for Suicune. Now, if you play UU quite a bit, you know the Suicune set that's out there. It's very annoying and hard to beat unless you have a perfect counter like Heliolisk or Vaporeon with their abilities that allow them to basically ignore water attacks and absorb it and heal up at the same time. And that's really the only way to stop Suicune unless you have a very strong like electric type or grass type, and maybe something that just walls special attacks like Florges could kind of stop Suicune to a certain extent, only in the beginning stages, but not really in the long run. So anyways, for this set you're going to want to have basically the same moves as your normal Suicune set, so Scald, Calm Mind, Sleep, Talk, and Rest. Of course, your abilities Pressure. Now, here's where the difference is in my set compared to the one that you're going to see out there in UU. Usually, everyone's going to carry leftovers, and no one's going to even think about using the Key Berry, which is what I've come up with, because you see, knockoff is quite common in UU and pretty much any tier, that if there's Pokemon who can have knockoff or whatever, so they're going to want to get rid of your leftovers because that's very important to get rid of. But the Key Berry, here's the thing, you can't knock it off, because if you get hit by a physical attack, the Key Berry is activated. So before the knockoff takes into effect, the Key Berry is activated, so you have no item. So the Key Berry cannot get knocked off. Now, unlike leftovers, you can only use this, one round. So once you're hit or whatever and it's activated, it's gone forever. Whereas leftovers, it can keep healing up as long as it doesn't get knocked off. So you got to make sure you use this set when you know you can stay in for a long period of time. Because if you use that Key Berry and you switch out, then it's basically like you lost your leftovers, or your edge over your opponent. So that's a thing to keep in mind. And I've also used this set quite a bit in UU, and I found it to be more effective than the leftover set, like I mentioned, because of knockoff being common. So anyways, for the EVs for this set, you want to go with 240 into your HP, and then you want to go 252 into your defense, and then put 16 in special attack, and then go with the calm nature. Now the reason is for the 16 in special attack, that's just to put your special attack a little higher than normal, get that little buff in damage output. And really you're only taking about 3 points off of your HP anyways, so that's not going to make too much of a difference. It's better to do a little bit more damage than have an HP to a certain extent or whatever, so that comes in handy. And that's basically it for this set. Now if you want to run something a little different or whatever, I was thinking about maybe you could run kind of a pure defensive wall here. You could have Scald or whatever, to fish for that burn, Mirror Coat to deal with special attackers like Heliolisk. Can't really take out Suicune in one hit anyways with like max HP, unless Heliolisk is carrying like choice specs or whatever, and could possibly with the Life Orb, just depending on how they run their Heliolisk. And then you could run Reflect for some extra defensive boost. So basically you can double your defense with a Scald and then double that with a Reflect. And basically your opponent's physical attackers will do 0 damage. And then if you want Rest, to heal up or something, to just keep going if you wish or whatever. Or if you don't want to worry about that, just go with something else, like maybe even Calm Mind, so you can raise your special defense and special attack. But keep in mind you won't have Rest, so you'll just be kind of in there until you basically lose all your HP. Now I recommend the item the Sitrus Berry to give you the boost you need, so you can use like Mirror Coat, kill one of their special attackers by doing double damage what they do back to you, and then having enough HP maybe for another Pokemon that comes in. Or you could go with the leftovers or something, but it just depends on what you're running. If you're running Rest, probably go with the leftovers. but if you're not, definitely go with that Sitrus berry. Now for the EVs for this set, go 252 HP and then 252 defense, and then just put the rest in special defense and go with a bold nature. Make your defense just ridiculous or whatever with this set. And that's basically it for this strategy guide for Suicune. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day and goodbye.